got the patient who's safely sitting here at the bed. I don't see any issues here or anything safety-wise dealing with her here. But notice that the chair is about 5 feet away from her. What we want to do first is fix that. Key things about these chairs. Sometimes it seems easy to have the chair positioned right in front of the patient. This is not the safest way to do this kind of transfer. What you want to do is get your chair or your transferring surface at an angle directly or adjacent to your patient. Key thing I want to do now is make sure that it's locked on both sides. Nowhere she can fall, but either to the bed or to the chair, if that was to happen. So before we begin the actual transfer, we see that the belt is already on her. What I want to make sure of that the belt is on properly. So I just want to stick a couple fingers in there to see if it's snug. And right now I can feel about all my fingers in there. So that's not tight enough. What I want to do is open up this little clip, pull the belt a little tighter, check with the patient, is that okay? Mm-hmm. And now I barely got about 2 fingers in there. So it's nice and snug. The belt will not go anywhere in the case of any kind of fall or the patient losing their balance, okay? Now I'm going to instruct the patient on how I want to do the transfer. Key thing you want to do, again, don't be afraid to get close to your patient. You want to make sure that they're safe. You want to make sure that you're safe and you don't get injured. In front of you, the BACK acronym is going to come into play now. Body mechanics once again. I'm going to get low with the patient, keeping my back straight, bending at the knees. I'm going to have my alignment with the patient's load. I've already cleared the path, we know where we're going, and you see the knee blockade is now coming into play. I'm going to have my knees directly in front of hers to prevent any sliding or buckling. I'm going to instruct the patient to grab onto my elbows. Do not have somebody grab near your neck or shoulder area. You don't want to leave this with a broken neck. So what I'm going to do, I want to have my hands with the palms up at the midsection, the middle area of the belt, have the patient grab the back of my elbows. I want to have her head on the opposite side of where we're going. So I want to have you bring your head into my shoulders, just like that. And so we're going to rock together. We're going to go 1, 2, and on 3 we'll stand up, okay? So all I'm doing is shifting my weight backward, shifting her weight forward, and we're going to stand together on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. So there was no heavy lifting. It was more of a shifting of the weight and having her stand up. And I'm still secure, she's still holding on to me. You see how close we are. There's less chance of anybody lifting the increased load by me being so far away or her falling as compared to me being here. So from this position here, we're going to begin our stand pivot transfer. We're just going to act like we're dancing and we're just going to take small little steps to turn to get in front of this chair, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, let's start stepping. Good, my hands are still on the gate belt, still close to the patient. Good. When I see that she's right in front of the chair, I'm going to have the patient take steps back. Let's step back all the way until you feel the chair behind both your legs. Do you feel the chair? Yeah. So now as we begin the stand to sit transfer, you see that I'm still very close to the patient. She's still holding on to me and I still have a good hold of the belt with my palms up. So while I want to now instruct the patient she can safely let go of my hand or my elbows. As we begin to lower down and sit, I want you to reach back for the chair and the armrest, okay? So that's another kind of safety precaution that we can use to make sure that the chair is locked. And I've already checked to make sure, but we always want to make sure that that chair is locked and the bed as well before we do any of these transfers. You can always do that with a quick nudge with your leg against the bed, or as I just did, by double checking the chair. And as we begin to lower, the patient's going to be reaching back with both hands to grab onto the armrest of the chair. So similar to how we got up, I'm going to have you bring your head to my shoulder. On the count of 3, you're going to stick your bottom out and just lower your weight down. As we get that 3 count, we are going to lower ourselves down as well and shift our weight towards her and lower her into the chair. All right, so on the count of 3, you reach back for the armrest of the chair and you reach your bottom back for the chair as well. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And you see the knee blockade coming in now. And I'm slowly shifting my weight forward to get her safely. Okay, so we're going to get ready to get you back into the bed, okay? Okay. So this transfer we're doing now is going to be another sit to stand, but however, we're going to be showing you how to utilize the walker with the transfer and how you safely guard and position yourself to guard the patient. So key thing with the walkers, you don't want to just give the patient a walker any size that it's at right now. So these walkers can be adjusted for our taller patients. You don't want to give them a walker that's too short. They'll be reaching down like that. That's not the safest transfer. They're already closer to the ground. For our shorter patients, you don't want to have it too tall. They'll be in this posture here. We don't want that also. So you can adjust it here towards the bottom you finish the sit to stand transfer, if you see that it's not in the right position, what you want to see for the correct position is when the patient stands in the walker, their wrist crease or wrist fold is right at the handlebars of the walker if they're standing relaxed. You want to see a slight 20-degree bend here. You don't have to measure the degrees, but just a slight bend at the elbow. That lets you know that's the proper positioning. Oh, your shoulders aren't up like this, or I'm not reaching down for the walker. Properly positioned for me. So now we're going to get into the actual transfer and where you're going to be positioned. You're going to be directed to the side of the patient, and then you want to give your patient instruction on what you're going to do. So going along with the BACK acronym, I've already cleared the environment, the pathway for where we're going to be going. I'm just going to instruct her now. What I want to have you do is just scoot forward a little bit so your bottom's at the edge of the chair, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and scoot forward. Good job. And from there, key thing about standing is the position of our legs and our feet. You want to make sure that their feet are either equal or behind their knees. I find that they get more power and force when they're behind their knees. And kind of spread their feet apart to give them a good base of support for when they stand. And as we begin to stand, we're going to use momentum. We're going to rock back and forth. We're going to go 1, 2, and a big lean on 3. The reason we like you to lean that way is to be able to have your eyes see your toes. When you're in a position of eyes seeing your toes, you're in a stronger position to get you to stand safer. If you don't, you'll be pushing yourself backward. So we're going to do that together. I'm going to have my hand supporting closer towards me at the back. Hold on to the gate belt with my palm up towards the ceiling. And you're going to be using your hands to push from your seated surface. Do not put your hands up here to stand up, because this is going to move, and it may collapse and hit them in the face. So we don't want to use the walker to stand up on. You grab the walker after you stand. So yes, good job positioning your hands on the chair. Now we're going to start counting. 1, 2, and 3. Good job. She did that perfectly. She pushed up, and when she stood, she then grabbed the walker. Now that we have her here, we're still close to the patient. We're going to begin our transfer back to the bed. So you're just going to use this walker to help you turn and take some steps, and we're going to go right in front of the bed, okay? I'm staying close to the patient, still holding on to the belt. Turning with the patient. Good, and we're going to back up. And if you can, try to get them as close to the head of the bed as you can in preparation for laying them back in bed. Good. Before I set her down, I'm still holding on to the patient. The leg that's closest to the bed is touching the bed, and I'm nudging the bed as hard as I can to make sure it's locked and secure before I sit the patient down. Now we begin to sit. Same things we did before. Have the patient take their hands off the walker and reaching back for their seated surface, which is going to be the bed now. So on the count of 3, start lowering your bottom down and reaching for the bed with your hands, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Good. And you see I also shifted my weight and lowered myself down with her to make sure she had a safe landing. You okay?
Yes.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to get you over to the chair, okay? Now, I know you've been having some leg weakness, so I'm not expecting you to stand right now. So what we're going to do is called a squat pivot transfer, okay? It's going to be me doing the bulk of the work, but it won't be a lot of work. It's just going to be a lot of communication and you following what I'm saying and good body mechanics on my part using the BACK acronym. So as I said, we're going to do a squat pivot transfer. I've already assessed the situation and the environment. I know that I can manage this patient on my own. I already have the chair in position. The chair is locked already. So we're going to go ahead and start and get ready with this transfer. The key thing I want to start with is just getting her feet in the proper position. Because she won't be standing and taking steps, I have to be in control of her full body, and I want to get her position already so that as we do the transfer, she doesn't get stuck in a bad position. So the foot and the leg that's closest to the chair, the surface that we're going to, I want to position that a little in front and closer to where she's going. And the one that's further away, I'm going to position it more midline, but behind. I'm also going to kind of turn this foot if I can. So it won't be perfect, but as long as you have that leg and foot that's closer in front, you'll see as the patient begins to transition her way, this is how she'll end up, okay? So, key thing for me, body alignment, or body positioning, body mechanics. I'm going to get low, I'm going to get close to the patient, I'm going to be holding on to the gate belt that's already on and secure, having their head on the opposite direction of where they're going, and making sure as you're going to see me transition my weight back. I'm going to shift back. I'm not going to lift straight up. As I shift back, her bottom will come up. I want to make sure we're high enough that we're clearing the armrest of whatever seated surface we're going to. In case that we have an armrest that does not come up, that's something that's going to be important. If you do have a chair where the armrest lifts up, it's not something that you really have to worry about. Just lift your bottom up off the seated surface and transition them over, okay? So we're going to begin with the transfer. I'm gonna have my knees in position, blocking both of her knees as I'm holding on to the gate belt. All right, so what I want you to do is hold on to the back of my elbows. Bring your head into my shoulder. Good. We're gonna put your knees in between mine. You okay?
Yes.
All right, so on the count of 3, I just want you to lean your weight into me, okay? Just like that on the count of 3, okay?
Okay.
All right. And as you can see, my feet are shifted as well. I have my foot that's closest to the chair or the seated surface further back, and the opposite foot and leg closer towards the bed and the patient. All right, on 3. 1, 2, and 3. So I just shifted my weight back, and I am just sliding the patient over and lowering them back down. You see that I didn't do any excessive lifting or standing. It was just me shifting my weight back and turning to get her over to the chair. And from here, I can lower her down into the chair. Oh, hey, Ms. Doe, how you been doing?
I'm great. What about you?
Good, good. I'm doing well. I know you've been sitting up in the chair for quite a while, so you may be a little tired as we begin to do this transfer, okay? So I'm going to ask for a helper to come assist me as we get you back to the bed.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing now is another squat pivot transfer, but with a second person to assist. You may have multiple reasons why you want to assist. Similar to the situation here, she's been sitting up in the chair for quite a while. She may be tired and fatigued, so we don't want to risk her getting up on her feet, slumping down in our arms, and we're stuck in a bad situation to where we're holding on for dear life. Another situation that may occur is if she has a weaker or a stronger side. Her stronger side right now is her right side, so we always want to go to the strongest side to allow them to have their base support or their support going to that stronger side to assist them with the transfer. If her stronger side was her left side, we will simply just unlock the chair, swivel it around, have the same angle going towards the bed. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to call for a helper. Can you assist me really quick? Keep good communication. I'm leading the transfer. I'm going to stay in front of the patient. I'm going to tell my assistant or the person assisting me at this time to get right there in that crack. So that's another key reason of having the chair in this position here, not only for close seated surfaces, but to allow for a second person to help. That second person is going to be pretty much a guide to protect the trunk and the buttocks or the bottom or the hips as needed as we do the transfer. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have you bring your head into this part of my shoulder. We're going to count to 3. We're going to shift our weight into me. And we're going to not lift you, we're just going to shift our weight and come over towards the bed. She's going to be behind you, protecting you the whole time to support you at your hips, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, similar to our previous transfer, I want to get her feet positioned. However, before I do that, let's scoot her into a better position to better prepare us for this transfer since we're already going this direction. Because she's a little tired, I'm going to assist with this scoop with this sheet, but I'm still going to give her instructions, okay? So what I'm going to have you do is shift your weight to the left side on 3, and I'm going to be scooting your hip forward with this jaw sheet, okay? On 3, 1, 2, 3, good. We're going to do it again just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, good. So as you can see, she's already in a better position to begin this transfer without us having to do an extra twist and turn as we start getting her over to the bed. I'm going to get her feet in position, closest foot forward, other one is back. Get in a position to where I can put her knees between mine, still supporting at the gate belt. If you can grab the back of my elbows. I'm going to check with my helper to see if they're ready. Are you ready? Okay, can you put your head on my shoulders? On the count of 3, you just shift your weight into me, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. You okay?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.